Welcome to this explainer. If you're a focused learner ready to actually bridge that gap between high-level theory and getting your hands dirty with real code, well, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to take a comprehensive journey today, starting with the core concepts of data science and going straight into setting up your practical software environment. I am so pumped to guide you through this, so let's get your system ready to build something incredible. Okay, here is how we're breaking it down today. We'll start by demystifying data science. Then, we'll figure out how to choose your specific data role, cover the tools of the trade, weigh Anaconda versus Miniconda, walk through a step-by-step installation, and wrap it all up by launching your Jupyter notebook. Right, let's dive straight into Section 1, demystifying data science. We really need to establish a solid baseline here. So, at its absolute core, data science is quite literally the study of data. Think of it kind of like the biological sciences, right? But instead of studying biology, you are studying raw information. We're talking about using statistics, scientific computing, and advanced algorithms to pull meaningful insights out of massive amounts of messy, unstructured data. And when you realize that humanity generates over 300 million terabytes of data every single day, it suddenly makes total sense why this field is just exploding. These insights are absolutely crucial for practically every industry out there, from modern healthcare and finance to social media and global business. Now, you hear these buzzwords all the time, but this brilliantly breaks down how artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning actually relate to each other, because beginners confuse these all the time. AI is the massive umbrella, basically any technique that lets computers mimic human intelligence. Then, sitting inside that, you've got machine learning as a subset, which uses statistical techniques so machines actually get better at tasks with experience. And finally, nestled right down deep inside that is deep learning. This uses multi-layered neural networks to train software on absolute mountains of data to do complex stuff like speech and image recognition. Okay, moving to Section 2, choosing your data role. Let's look at the actual career paths available to you. We can really separate data professionals into three distinct pillars: the scientist, the engineer, and the analyst. The data scientist has a predictive focus. They're the ones using heavy math and machine learning to answer the big business questions. The data engineer, they are all about systems building. They build the literal cloud infrastructure and databases that make the other two roles even possible. And then the data analyst focuses on communication. They take that data, create visualizations, and communicate the results so business leaders can actually make informed decisions. When you compare their core skills directly, it's night and day. The analyst's toolbelt is heavily focused on proficiency in Excel, SQL, statistical analysis, a bit of basic Python, and visualization tools like Power BI or Tableau. The data scientist, on the other hand, needs a completely different, heavily mathematical foundation. We're talking advanced math, complex statistics, hardcore programming in Python or R, and deep knowledge of machine learning and AI. Which brings us to Section 3. Tools of the trade. Let's talk about the specific software you'll be using. Because the required skills are so different, the software stacks are totally different too. While an analyst relies heavily on applications like Excel, SQL databases, and dashboard tools to build their reports, a data scientist lives in a much deeper, code-driven ecosystem. If you go the scientist route, you are going to be heavily utilizing specific Python libraries, things like NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, scikit-learn, and TensorFlow, to actually build and train your predictive models. To bring this all together into one big picture, the comprehensive roadmap of a data scientist progresses exactly like a giant puzzle, starting from the inside out. You have to start right in the center with foundational math and stats. Think probability and linear algebra. Then you build outward into programming with Python and SQL. After that, you're expanding into data wrangling, then pushing further out into complex machine learning concepts. And finally, on the very outer ring, you've got the soft skills. Because at the end of the day, critical thinking and storytelling are just as important as the code itself. All right, Section 4, Anaconda versus Miniconda. It is time to choose your coding environment. We've reached a real crossroads for your personal setup. Both of these distributions are fantastic and totally get the job done, but they take incredibly different approaches to getting that software onto your machine. Let's compare them. Anaconda is kind of the whole shebang. It gives you a nice graphical interface called a navigator, and it automatically comes preloaded with over 150 data science packages. It is incredibly convenient, especially if you're a beginner, but it's going to eat up a few gigabytes of space. Miniconda, on the flip side, is totally bare bones and lightweight. It's command line only, and it literally just installs Python, Conda, and a couple of essentials. Go with Miniconda if you're low on disk space and really just want to install the exact packages you need one by one. For today, we're assuming you want the easiest path. So let's jump into Section 5, Step-by-Step Installation of the Full Anaconda Setup. Grabbing the installer is super seamless. Just pop open your browser and head over to anaconda.com. Hit that big free download button, and hey, a quick pro tip. On the very next page, just hit skip registration to bypass the whole sign-up form and save yourself some time. You'll need to grab the download that matches your operating system, whether you're on Windows, Mac, or Linux. But listen, do not overthink this part. Just make sure you grab the 64-bit graphical installer. That single package contains over 8,000 libraries, Jupyter, and literally everything you need so you don't run into any setup headaches later. Once that's downloaded, right-click the file and run it as an administrator. Click Next, agree to the terms, and this is a really crucial step. Make absolutely sure you select all users, which is exactly why we needed those admin rights. Leave the default installation folder exactly as it is, check the recommended advanced boxes, and hit Install. Now, you're going to watch that progress bar for a few minutes while it unpacks the whole system, but eventually you'll hit that super satisfying bright green completion screen. Just hit Next, click Finish, and boom. Thousands of vetted, powerful data science packages are now safely living on your machine. Finally, Section 6, Launching Jupyter Notebook. Let's open up your primary workspace. Head over to your system's Start menu and pull up your All Apps list. Scroll down until you see a brand new folder called Anaconda 3. Just click to expand that and select the app titled Anaconda Navigator. Once the Navigator interface opens up, double-check that your default environment dropdown up top is set to Base. That ensures you have access to all those awesome pre-installed packages. Then, just find the Jupyter Notebook tile and click Launch. That is literally it. It's going to open up a fresh page right in your default web browser where you can start writing real Python code in interactive cells. Now, if you're someone who prefers the hacker aesthetic of the command line instead of clicking through menus, you can totally do that too. Just open up your Anaconda prompt, type in the words Jupyter Notebook, hit Enter, and it'll spin up that exact same browser environment in seconds. And there you have it. Incredible work sticking with me through all of this material today. You now have a really deep understanding of the entire data science landscape. You know exactly what separates an analyst from a scientist. And best of all, your tools are officially installed and ready to go. So the ultimate question remains for you. Now that your coding environment is fully set up, what are you going to build first?